Hello everyone and welcome to Sent You a Message. I'm Andy and joining us via the magic of Avatar Connect is my co-host Dan Marr. Dan, are you there?
Yep, thanks Andy. I'm really enjoying Avatar Connect. The way it tracks my head and my arms, it's incredible. I mean, look, I can smile, I can wiggle my eyebrows up and down, I can even do this. Oh, it doesn't seem to register that for some reason.
Oh, I'm not surprised. That's completely disgusting. Get back in here. You always have to take it too far, don't you?
Oh, you're such a prude.
Our first question this week is from the mysterious no-name 98A, who says he would kill for more information about Trials Evolution.
Oh, do we get to choose who he kills?
It doesn't say.
Ugh, tell him we're not interested then. So, Trials Evolution is the sequel to Trials HD, the uber-frustrating, incredibly satisfying stunt bike live arcade game that caused so many of us to grind our teeth into an unpleasant, gritty powder when it was released as part of the second Summer of Arcade in 2009.
The good news, or bad news if you value your teeth, is that a sequel is on the way. It's called Trials Evolution. It keeps the core mechanics of Trials HD and couples them with a shiny visual makeover, outdoor environments, and a bunch of new features, not least of which is the inclusion of 4-player simultaneous multiplayer.
Yeah, whereas before your dominance over your friends in Trials was limited to thrashing their best time with them, running over to the house really quickly so you could peer in the window at them weeping bitterly on the living room rug, now you can actually do it in real time, live, as it happens, and live.
Yeah, you all line up together on the start line and tackle identical courses at the same time, so you'll know exactly how far ahead or behind you are. There'll be different multiplayer game modes as well, and knowing Red Lynx's sense of humour, you can probably expect ridiculous power-ups to play a big part in some of them.
Also improved is the level editor system. It's now a lot more customisable thanks to a massive amount of new objects to play around with, and the new Track Central system that allows you to share your created tracks with anyone, not just people you're friends with.
As is always the case with everything, there isn't a specific release date beyond vague rumblings of autumn 2011, but it's looking like it'll be worth the wait, both for you and your dentist. Now, next up, Chris Parker wants to know about the HD remakes of Metal Gear Solid 2, 3 and Peace Walker. Now, Dan, you... What are you doing? I can see your legs. It's rubbish. Right, well anyway, Metal Gear... What Chris is talking about is the Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, announced recently by Hideo Kojima, a retail release that gives a snazzy HD makeover to Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and handheld title Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Andy, it's Dan. I'm hurt pretty bad. I'm gonna need an emergency evac. I suggest you use the Fulton recovery system to parachute me out of this hellhole.
Can you stop making Metal Gear Solid jokes and just get back on the couch, please?
Fine. Yeah, right, yeah. So the collection starts with Metal Gear Solid 2, a clever, gripping action stealth hybrid which first introduced divisive new protagonist Raiden. Despite replacing Snake with a flaxen-haired gymnast with girlfriend issues, it's still one of the best received games of all time, currently sitting at number 15 in Metacritic's all-time highest rated list.
Then there's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, a prequel set during the Cold War that stars Naked Snake, who's basically Solid Snake's dad with a sexier name, stealthing your way through the jungle using close-quarters combat, camouflage and hunting skills to obtain information about the original Metal Gear war machine.
Then there's Peace Walker, originally a handheld game that continues Naked Snake's story into the 1970s, charting the aftermath of the Cuban Missile Crisis and Snake's formation of freedom fighters for hire, the Militaires Sans Frontières. It's a bit of a departure from the other two, with bite-sized missions and challenges, multiplayer support, and a sub-game involving the deployment of soldiers and vehicles you've captured and recruited on the battlefield to other parts of the world. You may recall that Ubisoft borrowed this idea for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
The HD version of MGS3 is based on the upgraded Subsistence Edition, which means you'll have full camera control rather than having to stick to the controversial locked angles of the original, while Peace Walker HD will have improved audio, dual analog support, and a load of redone art assets.
So, if you missed these games the first time around, or just fancy a stealthy trip down memory lane in a cardboard box, the Metal Gear Solid HD Collection is out this November.
Aaron Brown is a fan of crafting mines and wants to know about the Xbox Live Arcade version of Minecraft.
Now, if you've not heard of Minecraft, it's a sandbox construction game where you mine resources and place blocks to create anything you can think of, as some of these impressive constructions from the PC version demonstrate.
Unlock the limits of the human imagination. Developer Mojang, which was just one guy and is now just 8 guys, has wisely passed the bulk of the Xbox development duties over to Scottish developer 4J, the team responsible for the XBLA versions of Rare's Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie and Perfect Dark.
Now, on the PC, there's 2 versions of Minecraft, a free sandbox construction version and the paid-for beta survival version that includes monsters that you'll need to build shelters to avoid. It's looking like the Xbox version is going to be similar to the PC beta version, right down to the beta model of the way it's released and updated. As Mr. Minecraft, Marcus Notch Persson, said to Develop Magazine recently, the way we're going to do it is similar to how we did Minecraft on the PC. So we'll do a beta version first or something like that, and then try to get feedback, find out which parts are actually fun to do, what do you like doing when playing on the console as opposed to the PC.
On the downside, the game won't support mods at launch and will most likely be updated less frequently than the PC version. But thankfully, the controls are being tweaked for the console release to make crafting easier, as well as adding Kinect support. There's no word on what form the Kinect features are going to take yet, but Notch has stated they're set to be one of the most interesting aspects of the game. As he said to IGN, it's just too silly not to include. Punching trees from the comfort of your living room has never been this immersive before.
You hear that? Never before. No word on the actual release date, but if you want to get a taste of what to expect from Minecraft, you can head to minecraft.net to play a free version in your browser and see what all the fuss is about.
Emoticon enthusiast Snipe Soldier Lee writes, asking if there's any news on Borderlands 2. This makes him ironically sad, then maniacally happy before he finally settles on sticking his tongue out.
Yeah, I imagine those kind of mood swings would be quite detrimental to a sniper.
Yeah, you'd think. Anyway, Borderlands 2 was formally announced last week after months of rumour, speculation and Randy Pitchford getting in a huff. As is so often the case with these things, the news broke via Exclusives Factory Game Informer magazine, which has lived up to its name by providing some game information.
Yeah, so Borderlands 2 is sticking to the template established by Borderlands being a 4-player co-op game. The playable characters are all new this time though, with the 4 protagonists from the first game all staying as non-playable characters.
Yeah, one of the announced characters is Salvador, the combat Abe Lincoln guy in one of the first pieces of artwork released for the game, who was apparently a gunzerker.
What? My school's career advisor told me that gunzerker wasn't a real occupation.
Sorry. Being a gunzerker not only allows Salvador access to gunzerker-only parking bays outside the supermarket, but also allows him to dual-wield weapons, with the accuracy of both being increased if they're of the same type, and the damage of both being increased if they're not. There are other class-based perks as well, such as the gunzerker's rate of fire increasing the longer he holds the trigger down, or going gunzerk as it's known by nobody.
Missions are also more dynamic now, with elements of them changing depending on the path you take or how long you spend on them, for example. Also new is the element Iridium, which can be used to buy things, as well as combined with other elements to boost the abilities of your guns and vehicles.
It's Borderlands, so gun adult literature is the order of the day, with the usual ridiculous amount of weapons available for you to fire hot lead at people with. Each weapon's manufacturer's wares will be easily identifiable by their visual style though, so you can tell who made a weapon and its quality at a glance. There are also new vehicles which can all carry 4 passengers, including the one they've shown so far, the Bandit Technical.
Yeah, the other exciting bit of news is that the story is being written by Anthony Birch, former features editor on Destructoid and one of the people behind surreal and hilarious video game related web series Hey Ash, What You Playing, which is it's a good thing, trust us.
Speaking of vague release dates, which I'm going to do now, the game could come out any time between April 2012 and March 2013, but we'll be taking a look at it next week as luck would have it, so look forward to much more on it on Inside Xbox very soon.
Scientists have discovered that experimental food product Stuff 339 not only closely resembles chicken when cooked, but to their alarm it's also displayed signs of being incredibly cost-conscious. Their suspicions were aroused when an interpreter discovered that the bubbling goop's grotesque gurgles are actually its way of asking whether the Mortal Kombat Season Pass is worth its 1,200 Microsoft points asking price.
Now, we pride ourselves on being a non-discriminatory show, and so we contacted Warner Brothers on behalf of this hideous affront to nature to see if it's a worthwhile investment. Inevitably, they got back to us with a K-ridden monstrosity of a response, which is as follows. The Mortal Kombat Season Pass does cover all confirmed MK DLC moving forward, comprising of 4 new combatants in total. Each fighter costs 400 MS points, so by purchasing the Season Pass, you essentially receive 1 combatant completely for free.
Doesn't really work when you can't see the words. Anyway, the 4 combatants in question are Prince-loving Purple Ninja Rain, bloodthirsty femme fatality Scarlet, sightless telepathic swordsman Kenshi, and melty-faced, dream-haunting ex-child murderer Freddy Krueger. Nice to see him still getting gainful employment despite all the really quite awful things he's done.
Yeah, Warner Brothers' statement infers that these 4 new characters are your lot as far as new characters are concerned, which still makes the Season Pass a worthwhile investment if you're intending on getting the full quartet of kick punchers. However, we've heard rumours of other movie villains joining the fray, such as Friday the 13th's hockey-masked hacker Jason Voorhees, so there's a chance 1,200 MSP may prove to be even better value than previously thought.
Now, as Andy says, though, that's a rumour, and contrary to what your mate Dave Hobbs at work thinks, that's not a synonym for fact. Now, we're getting a lot of questions at the moment about special editions of games, so we're going to do a quick roundup in a segment I like to call Special Edition Roundup.
Was that the best name we could think of?
Yeah, incredibly, yeah.
We've not even spelled it correctly.
How can you even see that? It goes on afterwards when it's in post-production.
It's not very quick, this quick roundup, is it?
Oh, great, yeah, change the subject. Right, there's the Gears of War 3 Epic Edition that the erotically named Total Body was asking about. Costs £99 and is exclusively available from Game and Game Station in the UK, while our friends in the US can expect to pay $149.99. It launches alongside the standard edition of the game on 20th of September and contains the following.
An Octus Award box with Octus Service Medal, a zinc alloy cog-shaped metal that replicates the award given to Marcus Phoenix's dad, Adam Phoenix, in recognition of his work designing the Hammer of Dawn. It also has a code engraved on it to unlock Adam as a character in multiplayer.
It also has a fabric cog flag with literally hundreds of uses.
The personal effects of Adam Phoenix, including his last will and testament, the initial Hammer of Dawn schematic, and other Phoenix family mementos. Bit macabre, that one.
Yeah. It's also got a Marcus Phoenix statue, which is sure to class of any interior design project or car dashboard, and the Art and Design of Gears of War book, which contains 96 pages of interviews, photos, and concept artwork.
And the Infected Omen weapon pack, which gives a snazzy makeover to the Lancer, Retro Lancer, Sawed-Off Shotgun, Nasher Shotgun, and Hammerburst.
Next up is the Assassin's Creed Revelations Animus Edition, which contains an exciting Animus box that you can use to, I don't know, store feathers in or club corrupt cardinals to death with or something. And it's also got an in-depth encyclopedia of the Assassin's Creed universe. There's also the game's soundtrack and an animated short film entitled Assassin's Creed Ember, set more than a decade after Revelations, that follows an old Ezio living with his family in Florence.
There's also some in-game content, including Vlad the Impaler's castle, new multiplayer characters, and the Brutus armor from Brotherhood. It's available for pre-order now from the Ubi shop at shop.ubi.com for $68.99 and is out on the 15th of November.
Now then there's the Batman Arkham City Collector's Edition, which costs $59.99 in the UK and $99.99 in the US, and contains a collectible art book, early access to the Iceberg Lounge Challenge map, the portly old man Batman skin from The Dark Knight Returns, a Batman Arkham City album that it says here includes original songs by hit artists, so look forward to that, the animated anthology Batman Gotham Knights, and a custom Batman statue produced by Kotobukiya, which we are a little romantically in love with.
And finally, the special edition to end all special editions, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, is, how you say, bonkers.
Yeah, it includes an Art of Skyrim art book featuring over 200 pages of illustrations, sketches and models, a making of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim DVD with exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, including interviews with the team about the story, gameplay, setting and legacy of the Elder Scrolls franchise, and this beautifully crafted figurine of Alduin the World Eater, created from...
It's a dragon statue.
Yeah, it's a dragon statue, but what a dragon statue, capturing the magnificent form of Alduin's leathern wings.
How much is it?
The price is not important, considering the craftsmanship of this.
How much is it?
It's $129.99 or $108 from EB Games in the US.
There we go. That's out with the standard edition of the game as well on 11/11/11.
As is always the case with these things, prices and release dates can be different depending where you are in the world. So if you just can't enjoy a game to the fullest unless you have a resin replica of something out of it staring at you while you play, check with local retailers to make sure you get your hands on them before they're all gone. LocoGamer759 is one of our lucky few Facebook fans who's managed to avoid having his question already erroneously answered by one of his helpful peers. So we figured we owed it to him to hit him with a Battlefield 3 Unlocks Fact Blast.
As revealed by the latest entry on DICE's official battle blog, the Swedish developer is taking the matter of rewarding players with unlocks and awards incredibly seriously. In fact, they've got two guys who act as persistence designers, which basically means it's their job to keep you riveted to its multiplayer for as long as humanly possible.
Sounds painful. Unsurprisingly for a game that's seeking to usurp Call of Duty from its precious jewel-encrusted throne situated several thousand miles above the Earth's surface, Battlefield 3 is going to have so many unlocks that, if you laid them end to end, they'd wrap around the Earth several times, ultimately severing it in two and unleashing a dormant supernatural force that would enslave the planet's survivors.
Another more accurate way of putting it is that it has 10 times more hardware unlocks than Bad Company 2 and incorporates new weapons, attachments, gadgets and vehicles. The unlock system is tailored to your preferred class and loadout, so upgrades earned will be suited to the weapons, gear and vehicles that you favour. However, the experience points you pick up will also go towards extra items and specialisations that can be used by any class, so you won't feel like you're being funneled down a single progression path.
Additionally, there's a plethora of medals, ribbons and service stars that are awarded for skill, dedication and, this may come to a shock to COD players, teamwork. Service stars are the highest accolade you can earn, up to a maximum of 100, and according to DICE, the ultimate goal is to reach Colonel rank, earn all service stars and have 100 stars attributed to all weapons, kits and vehicles. So if you had plans of leading a normal, full life, you may have to postpone them until, say, your next reincarnation.
And that's it for this week's show, but we'll be back next week with a special episode all the way from the mystical land of Germany.
Yeah, next week is Gamescom in Cologne. It's Europe's biggest games expo, and naturally, I'll be there.
Yeah, well, so will I.
Yeah, but I will be there.
Yeah, we don't have to say it if we're both going to be there, do you?
Well, Regardless, we'll be talking to the people behind the biggest upcoming games and putting together a special Sent You a Message from Cologne where we'll put your questions direct to the game's developers. So, if you've got a specific question for the developers of any of the games you see scrolling before your very eyes right now, send them in and we'll do our best to include as many as we can.
And of course, you can check out our Gamescom coverage on Inside Xbox all next week as well for all the sights, sounds, and typically for an indoor event in August that attracts a huge amount of online gaming enthusiasts, smells of this awesome event. See you there, everyone.